We are. I'll tell you when it's live.
It's live now. Hello.
Is it? Do you see it?
Meeting on YouTube.
Redirecting to YouTube.
Streaming
okay,
live.
Perfect. Salut Fabrice.
Hey Paul, how's it going?
Good, you?
Good.
Well,
what do you want to talk about today?
Great episode of What If.
What if? What if? What if? What if? What's going on? What are we what ifing?
What are we what ifing? Well, we've been very salesy lately, so I thought that we should be a little bit more, what's the word I'm looking for? A little bit more marketing.
Okay.
So I thought of a good what if.
Nice.
What if your marketing, I wrote it down, what if your marketing formula doesn't work in our new coronavirus reality?
Very good question.
What if everything I used to do marketing-wise, and this is wide, and doesn't work anymore? What do you do? So have you thought of this? Have you, being a marketing guy?
Definitely. I mean, obviously, there's different situations based on, I think last time you mentioned there was like 3 categories of clients. Those that are doing well, those are not, and so on and so forth. So obviously, it depends on which category you fall in. But overall, I mean, the answer is simple. If it doesn't work, change it.
Okay.
No, and by that I mean, marketing has always been about speed, how fast you can execute on something. So if you spend a lot of time going back and forth, this is not working, what should we be doing, and stuff like that, like you'll always have a challenge. You'll always have a hard time staying on top of things, especially in a moment like now where every day we get different news, different updates, different realities. So I would say if it's not working now, work on getting your team to execute faster. So you can try out different things. Try posting more on LinkedIn, try doing live videos, try doing webinars, try. Right?
Okay.
Over planning will get you nowhere.
Sorry, let's get a little tactical. Let's give a specific example. So let's say I'm an IT company. Last week I was super busy, or for the last 2 weeks I was super busy. I was offering my clients special pricing because everyone was trying to set up from home. And now a couple of weeks later, poof, everything's dying. I sort of helped everyone work from home. I still can help people, but let's say my traditional kind of marketing doesn't work as well. Does Jen have an opinion?
Does Jen have an opinion? Well, I mean, again, it's about speed, right? So you were saying a whole bunch of people were reaching out, old clients, new clients, because everybody was trying to work from home. Now that things are, let's say, settled, they're less interested. I think it's time to build a community, work with them, reach out to them, market to them, help them. Yesterday or whenever we were talking about video conferencing best practices. Write up some tutorials for them, how to get better at doing video conferencing and things like that. Again, marketing is not always about the direct ROI of things, especially in times like today. But what you'll notice is that a lot of clients rushed into using software like Zoom, and now they're realizing, oh, maybe it's not the right software for us. And half my team don't have the right laptops, right? They can't support multi-video streaming or teleconferencing and things like that. And so the more you can send them advice and how to do things, what kind of hardware you should be looking at, things like that, the more you'll build a rapport with them. I mean, you'll get some more revenue from it here and there as people are like, oh yeah, right, we do need to buy new laptops, or we do need more server space, or we need more secure connections and things like that. But I think overall you're just helping people out in a time when things go crazy. So in a specific case like that, I would focus on all the existing and new clients that came on board in the past few weeks.
Okay. And there's something you said that I find interesting that I'm also telling my clients on the sales side of things, is that the sales cycle or the buyer's journey in a marketing world is totally messed up, right? I mean, it's almost put on hold. Yeah. What I've been telling my clients is keep having those conversations. And you also said, well, the ROI, you're not just doing this for immediate ROI, you're also building, right? So I guess what this means is you got to give yourself more time to build that ROI, more time to build that relationship.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like you said, the odds of you doing a lot of stuff quickly are vary depending on who you are and who your clients are. So I think if you focus too much on like, oh, I need to do everything I do needs to have an immediate return, I think you'll head down the wrong path, and you'll probably end up annoying people that maybe hopped on board with you because they were desperate and didn't have a choice, but they'll probably look to elsewhere as soon as they can, as soon as things settle down. And even though we're in a crisis, we're still in this current situation that we're in, there is a sense of normality coming back as people just, okay, well, we've been working from home now for, 2 to 4 weeks, depending on who you are, and things like that. So people now are getting more comfortable with how things are, having kids at home, things like that. So, having spouses walking in the background.
That was perfect timing.
That was perfect timing. So, I think if you're trying to be too pushy, and I think that works on the sales side as well. If you're just trying to be too pushy right away, or awkwardly, or without thinking about it, I think you're going to set yourself up for some bad things down the line. And it's actually funny you asked that, because I was editing one of the latest podcast episodes we did last night, and that one was with Fred Lucas, founder of Prima Resource, and at the end of the interview, you asked him about the whole COVID situation and things like that. And I don't remember the exact quote, but it was something along like the lines of what you put in now is going to impact what your business will look like after things get back to quote unquote normal. So if you're being pushy and arrogant and annoying now, I think that's going to definitely impact you when things get back to quote unquote normal. So I would look to add value, whether it's sales side of things or the marketing side of things. Think value first, help out first. And helping out doesn't mean necessarily you give out everything for free. It just means you're, like we talked about, an IT company, right? Helping their employees get better at teleconferencing, helping them figure out how to upgrade their systems and things like that will bring you a long way.
Yeah. Oh, that's valuable stuff. So let's say someone's watching us now live, and let's say tactically speaking, they're saying, okay, that's great. So you're talking about ROI and not being as direct on ROI. But let's say someone's done more of the traditional marketing, they've done a little bit of, whatever, social media, they've done a little bit of the traditional stuff. Is there sort of, like in your expertise, is there sort of certain things that you definitely want to be adjusting as a general rule? Like, okay, don't focus on traditional right now, focus more on social, don't try to be selling things, focus more on brand. Like, are there specific things that come out in your mind that you say, this is something I really should be doing or should not be doing? I know you need to try things, and I know you often say that, and it's true, and there's no magic pill, but are there some absolute no-nos or some absolute things that you just don't want to be doing because you know that it's not what should be done in times like this? Or maybe they're not. I'm really honestly asking the question.
I mean, you're right. There's no magic pill, and I think everybody has different formulas, but if it were up to me, I would look to efforts that allow me to build a community. So maybe doing live interviews with clients, or it doesn't have to be live, but a webinar with existing clients on best practices. Again, I would try to build as much as possible kind of a sense of community. I think a lot of people right now are feeling a little lost with everything that's going on. So instead of being like, okay, let's continue our radio ads, or let's continue our Facebook ads, if we feel it's not the right choice, I would orient more for, okay, who are we talking to now? Who are our clients now? Can we do a series of webinars for them? Can we do live conferences for them? Can we do things like that? I think that I think works well, just because marketing is a lot about psychology, and I think a lot of people right now are feeling still lost and frustrated. Yes, there is a sense of some normality, whatever that is, settling in as we've been kind of in this working from home mode for a few weeks now. But I think there's still a lot of people are still struggling with, and I think what's going to happen now is, especially company cultures that were very pro-office, where some employees are going to be like, I was just chatting with somebody this morning. He's like, oh man, I miss going into the office and interacting with colleagues and things like that. So I think, yes, there is a quote unquote normality coming in, but I think ultimately people are still feeling lost, a little confused. So helping people join up together, whether that's, like I said, through webinars, live calls, things like that, I think could be really interesting. But again, I mean, there's no magic pill, so try things out. If increasing your number of social posts works, then do that as well, you know?
So let's go on a little tangent for a second here, because it's interesting you say that, because I've got one client who has a very strong work culture. And a lot of the motivation comes from the fact that they're all sitting together in a room working together. And it's interesting because I said to another client who's saying my reps are having a hard time building that rapport they used to have. I said, you know what? All these people are still making calls. She said, yeah, they're working from home alone. Yeah. I said, why don't you just light up a Zoom meeting? Just put it on. Everyone stays on mute, but you all just see each other doing each other's work. Yeah. And then when you want to talk to someone, you can say, hey, chat, you know, and then you can call them directly or whatever, but you have, or you can Slack them, whatever it might be, but you have at least that community. That's one thing. You also said something else. I want to throw a really tough.
So wait, before you hop into that part, write a note on it, because I wanted to add something, because we were talking about the marketing side. So, you know, the advice you gave that person was a great sales advice as a sales leader. Yeah. But you as a sales consultant, what I would probably do is like reach out to that client in a few days or a week saying, hey, did you try out that Zoom thing? And then see if they did or they didn't.
They did it. Yeah, they did.
Yeah. So then what I would do, the opportunity for you is like, well, hey, how about I host the Zoom meeting for you? And so you do kind of a daily 3 to 4 sales, whatever. And so as a marketing offensive for you while you're building rapport with that client. So that's my, that's the type of example I would give on terms of how can I change my marketing? Yeah. That's one of the things I would look into doing.
Well, that's a great piece of advice, because I mean, I did do that, and I didn't suggest to lead the Zoom meeting. I'm doing other things with them. We're still working together. Yeah. So we're doing other stuff that's still existing in their case, but it's something I like that piece of advice. Thanks. I have another question for you, Fab. So let's say you're in a non-essential business. Let's say you're just shut down. Let's say you make, I don't know, you make perfume, or, you know, you're a local perfume maker, or, you know, you're whatever, local grower, you make T-shirts, whatever it is, you're just deemed totally, non-essential, and you can't get into manufacture. What kind of marketing do you do then? Like, do you just stop marketing? Like, what do you do?
Again, I mean, that's a little touchy question because, I mean, there are budgetary and financial constraints related to not being able to be open. I know a lot of governments, you know, here in Canada and the US and all that are offering, you know, support. So I'll give you an answer, assuming on the fact that you can, you know, you have some financial leeway, let's say. I would not. I mean, obviously, if everything's shut down and you have no money and you're 3 weeks away from just closing down for good, I mean, that's a different situation. But assuming you have some leeway and you know you'll be able to reopen in a month or 2 or whatever, however long that is, I would not stop my marketing. I would, if I can't pay my marketing staff, I would work on doing things like this, like just, you know, calling up clients, like, hey, let's do a live, you know, let's do a YouTube live, or let's do something and let's talk. And I would, actually, I think what would be very interesting, because if you're a non-essential business, your clients and your suppliers are probably non-essential businesses as well. And so I think I would document a lot of my process of going through this temporary shutdown. And I think a lot of other business owners would relate a lot. So I would be like, oh, today was a hard day and things like that.
Okay. So if I'm a perfume company and saying, hey, I had to shut things down, lay some people off, what's going on, we hope to be back soon, or to your clients, right? To your clients too. Yeah. Like, oh, this is what's going on. Okay, that's a great idea. And that doesn't need to cost a lot of money. And it's sort of telling your reality as it is. You know, we can still deliver stock that's in the in the warehouse, but we're not allowed to produce anything new. You know, we have this much stuff left. You know, call us up or send us an email. That's a great idea.
And it wouldn't necessarily be about the sales aspect. It would also just be like, hey, this is our reality.
That way.
Today, you know, like I would do like a daily thing with my co-founder or something like that, like kind of like what we're doing, but with my co-founder and like, hey, okay, well, today we had to make a tough choice of actually having to let some people go. And this is how we're feeling. This is how we dealt with it and things like that. I think that would help. That would definitely help a lot.
Jen again?
That would definitely help. I think that's that'd be very interesting. And I think a lot of people would relate to conversations like that, because a lot of people, again, I'm going back on the same theme, which is a lot of people are feeling lost right now. And I think business owners are probably feeling very lost, where they just don't know what's going on. And again, today I was reaching out to a client who's had to temporarily shut down, like asking how things are going. And he's just like, it's hard to make a prediction about what's going to go on because every day we get different news. So for sure, people like that are feeling very lost. So if you're out there sharing how you're feeling, sharing how you're handling things, I think that would add a lot of value marketing wise. I mean, obviously, again, if you have some leeway, if you're, you know, making t-shirts and you could switch to making, you know, like medical equipment or like medical gowns or whatnot, or if you're perfume and you can switch to making hand sanitizers and stuff like that, obviously that's a great thing to do as well. But if you can't, assuming you can, but you just do have some financial leeway, you know, you can survive this. I would definitely document my process, either interviewing or having discussion with my co-founder or interviewing suppliers or customers.
Yeah,
I would do that.
So that's very tactical. That's good. That's real stuff. So just, and it doesn't have to be that long, right? You can just document that this is what's going on. It can be video. It could also be a blog, right? It could just be it could just be something on your website, just to keep people alive. You can even tell them what you're working on. Hey, when this is all over, we're working on this stuff. It's going to be out hopefully by May or June, or
and like we said, like we've talked about this before on the podcast. We've talked about you know, what kind of content are you more comfortable producing. So if you're very comfortable writing, I would create a blog, whether it's on our website or just a Medium, like a new blog on Medium, or a blog like LinkedIn articles or whatnot. If you're more comfortable discussing and chatting, I would do, you know, like a Zoom conference or something like that. So just stick with what you're more comfortable. Don't over complicate things by, I need to start a podcast. I'm not great at talking to people, but I need to start and then you're just not going to do anything. Focus on what you're more comfortable doing.
Good stuff. Hey, this was a great episode. I don't want to make it too long. I've got some great ideas I want to talk about, but I don't want to do them right now. We're going to save it for the next What If.
All right. See you tomorrow.
Thanks everyone. Wait, we got to figure out how to turn this off now. Stop live stream. Bye everyone. See you tomorrow.
Bye.
I'm new at this. You see, you don't have to be perfect. You're allowed to learn.
Exactly.
Fab's allowed to laugh at me too. Okay, here we go.